All right, let's get into it. So what you're going to do is go down to your search bar here, type in Windows Security, and it will start pulling up the Defender. Here we are. This is your home screen. Shows you security at a glance, virus protection, account protection, firewall, network protection, app and browser control, device security, device performance and health, family options. That's for doing your parental controls. This is going to give you when your last scan was, your date, time, the type of scan. We'll get into that in a second. How long it took, obviously quick scan, scan options, allowed threats. For your home computer, unless you're doing something quite technical, there's not really any reason to go into allowed threats and put anybody on a whitelist to just have free reign through your firewall. It's not recommended. It's not best practices. Certain tech companies will do that, but that's under very controlled circumstances. So just don't do it. Virus and threat protection settings. Your updates, always make sure that you're checking for updates, because anytime that there's a vulnerability that's found in any of the systems that are protected by Windows Defender, these updates are basically what's known as patches that come in, and they're going to remove those vulnerabilities, or at least carpet them over so they can't be exploited. So let's go to scan options real quick, just so you can see what is available there. So quick scan is that's by default. It's going to scan the basics of where things are going to be found. Your full scan is running all your files, running all programs, anything that's actually written to your hard disk. You can do a custom scan. Once again, I don't know personally why you would do that, but and then also the Defender offline scan, which is going to look for the more complex threats like a bot or a rootkit that are much more difficult to locate, because they don't leave the same signatures behind, and a lot of them are run in RAM only, and so the typical antivirus doesn't detect them because they were never actually saved to the hard drive. So it makes them a little bit more difficult to get to. So let's check out settings and virus and thing. So it's kind of nice to look at this if you've never been in here before. So it shows you just how much protection actually comes with the Windows Defender, which is pretty nice, since it's, I guess not technically free since you paid for Windows, but it came with it. And so it's nice to know that you're protected. One other thing that I like to look at here is notifications. This is all by default, and I left it anytime that there's some sort of issue, whenever you have scan results, that kind of thing. It's going to pop up down here. It's going to give you a little bit of a, once we're going to run a scan here in a second, I'll show you, and it's going to give you kind of the cliff notes of what went on. And this is just your notifications. So you can see there's various things. You're not going to be turning this stuff off, but it's nice to be able to look at and see how much protection you actually have. Now, there are some more advanced settings to get into under the controlled access. We're not going to go into that here, but this video is more about for household use and what would be typical for that. So it's nice to see you come in here. All right, my firewall is on, my network firewall is on, my public firewall is on, and you would know if there was an issue if someone had a RAT, which is a remote access terminal, in your computer, that they've come in here and turned these off. So that's where you would locate those types of things. Reputation basis. This is where you're going to be. It's going to give you, when you're searching online, let's say you're Googling something and you decide that you're going to you're Googling by subject, right? Not a specific website. And they give you some results, and you see one that's really got a real clickable ad to it, or look to it, and you decide this is the one I'm going to check out. You click on it, and the reputation of that website is not so great. Either they've had security breaches in the past, or for whatever reason, Windows has identified it as not being a very secure website, or it's a known malicious site. Then it's going to give you a little X and ask you, are you sure that you want to go on there? You want to keep this turned on. And basically just leave the rest of this stuff as it comes. This is getting into a little bit more advanced stuff. You really, I mean, virtualization, once you get to that point, you're going to be putting advanced settings on all those anyways. So just sticking with your virus and threat protection, your account protection, double check your firewall every now and then. You can look at your performance, very nice. Storage capacity, battery life, apps, window time, service. If you were to run a fresh start on your Windows, it will delete most of the apps unless you go through and specifically select which ones you don't want done. I've never performed that. Anytime that I've ended up with some sort of issue that I needed to change, we would just go through and quarantine whichever application happened to be causing the problem. So anyhow, let's run a quick scan and see what that looks like. So once again, you're going to click on your virus and threat protection right here, quick scan. Let's click that, and this will show you pretty much how it's going to go through here. So you can see it does not take long, zips through pretty fast. And right down here, you're going to get a little box that tells you if there's any issues. If there is an issue, then it'll say click here, and it'll kind of give you some recommendations of what to do from there. And if not, then it'll say no action needed and no threats detected. I believe last time, I think this is going to be at 9999. Let's see. No. All right, so no new threats found, and shows you everything is good to go. So you can once you have this open, you can actually go in here and change some of your settings. I personally like to keep them on there. If I'm on my computer and suddenly there's an issue, then I want to know about it. So I keep them on there. But that is it. There are some more advanced settings, and that is something for you to go in there to explore. Once again, I would not start changing things. It's more of an idea of like what you want to look at, and as far as that goes. So that's basically it. Windows Defender is for Windows 10. It's not a bad setup, and it just shows that you don't have to go out and buy some expensive antivirus software. You're pretty well protected here. So, all right, that does it for tonight. Have a great day.